Me, 34 male, and my wife, 33 female, cheated and is now pregnant. Long story short, my wife Anna cheated on me. I don't know why. She says she doesn't know why either. Anytime I ask anything, it's just a river of tears. She says sorry and begs me to forgive her and forget it, but I can't. But leaving hasn't been easy either. We have 2 boys together. She's my high school sweetheart. Our families are longtime friends and are still tight with each other. They've all urged me to stay for the kids, to forgive her since it was one time, to not give up all the good because of one bad. But the worst part is she's pregnant. I found out about the pregnancy from my mother as I had her blocked and wasn't living in the same house anymore. I demanded a paternity test. She readily agreed and swore she'd get rid of the child if it's not mine. She's had nothing but curse words for her affair partner. But then all she's done since getting caught, didn't confess, is curse the guy and herself and cry. She's threatened to end herself. All she does is hug the boys and cry. I'm waiting on the results. I'll divorce her anyway, but she says the baby is for sure mine. That she slept with him once, whereas we'd been intimate pretty much every night the duration of her affair. It lasted 2 months, I think. They met, talked, and slept only once, if I'm to believe her. I don't know why, but the idea of the child being mine disgusts me. It feels like she couldn't commit to anything. Not to me nor the other guy. Why was she cheating if I was satisfying her? How is it that she wanted to talk about her feelings with some random man but not me? How is she sharing her deepest thoughts and feelings with this guy and being with me at once? How does that even work? I've always thought cheating was because you were not being fulfilled by your partner at home. I've read all these stories of wives leaving their kids, denying affections to their husbands, making jokes at the husband's expense, ruining the men financially, etc. She's done nothing of that sort. She's still the best mother I could have hoped for my sons. They love her more than they love me, I know. She was still the same loving and giving woman I fell for while she was being with the other guy. I saw her texts, the one she hadn't deleted, and every other text is, "I love my husband." I don't understand. I can't make heads or tails of this situation. If I did give her a baby, am I expected to forget and move back in? What if I can't do that? It's easy hating the child now because that might be her boyfriend's. But what if it's mine and I still hate it? I genuinely don't know how to be without her. Our entire lives are interwoven. Some days I want to go back to the blissful ignorance I was living in. The DNA report takes a week, I believe. It's been 3 days. My sister. She visits Anna regularly. I'm angry about that too because she's only visited me twice. Says my wife just looks at our wedding photos and cries. We have a whole junkyard collection worth of pictures and memories. She begged me to go see her once. I am clueless of how to proceed. It would have been so much easier if she had been a horrible woman for those 2 months that I could begin to look back and hate. But I can't. Life had been as normal and sweet as ever. I don't even have a bad memory of her I can use to hate her. Our last big fight before this I can't even remember. I'm going to see her and my boys tomorrow. I think I'll ask for DNA test on them too. I know they're mine, but you never know. Maybe I'll do it just to hurt her. Maybe I'll find something and I'll just hurt myself more. But that feels so unfair to the boys. Just how do I make sense of this? I called her. She was crying again but agreed to meet with me. I told her I was going with divorce one way or another, but whether we can ever reconcile a few years later or not fully depends on her honesty. She was crying and her voice sounded rough, but after a while she said she will tell me everything. So she does know why she did it. But for some reason she asked me to bring my sister along. My sister hasn't said anything either. I'm only praying my sister doesn't turn out to be an accomplice or something. She didn't beg for forgiveness or say, think about our kids after I told her how manipulative she's sounding. She seemed genuinely shocked to realize how she was holding me hostage with her threats. Does that mean something deeper? Are they actions of someone who has remorse? I talked to her. She showed me all the evidence and I found story too. My boss has been a co-owner of our franchise for about 5 years. His wife is our office manager. They have 2 kids, one being barely a year old. It's just 3 other people in the office. me and two female coworkers, A and R. Thursday afternoon while I was on lunch, I went to ask my boss about something, and I instead found him making out with Art in his office. He had his hands wrapped around her waist, grabbing her butt, and her arms were around his neck. They immediately pulled back and tried to play it off. The next day, my husband and I had to stay home because he was exposed to someone with COVID, and we were both ill. I messaged E and told her we needed to talk in person, but she said she's out of town until next week and to call her, so I did. I told E about what happened, and she was in shock. M called my phone a few hours later while I was in the shower, and my husband answered and asked that I call him back, but I couldn't bring myself to do it because of how bad my nerves and anxiety were after everything that happened. Today, I went to check my work email to see what was on the agenda for Monday. I was locked out. Tried to log into our scheduling website, and I couldn't get in there either. I messaged him, and he said I was no longer employed because of excessive absences, even though termination would be the third offense, and this was the first. I work in an at-will, right-to-work state, so now I can't even do anything about it. I did already contact a lawyer minutes after I found out I was terminated. They said there's basically nothing I can do. A lot of people are mad I made their marriage my business, but when an affair is happening 10 feet from my desk in an office, I'm in 40 hours a week, and I work with all three of the people involved. That's my business now. I didn't ask to walk in on them. It just happened. Maybe people shouldn't conduct their affairs where they work. But that's too hard for some of you to wrap your minds around.